What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I've got 4 picks that I've put down today. I'm going to take you through all that. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Before we jump into the picks, we do have to recap the day that was. I shared 3 picks with you guys yesterday. 2 and 1, slightly winning day if you just tailed the stuff on YouTube. VIP, however, not great, minus 5.4 units. How did I describe the day for me? Garbage. And the whole reason it was garbage is I spent the previous day wishing I put more bets down, wishing I did run some more riskier plays because everything was hitting so nicely. Then I came in today, I did it, and it was a disaster. I got unlucky with 2 value plays, CP3 and Jakob Poeltl. Like, I don't know what CP3 was doing on the court, up 15 with a couple minutes to go, but he came in, hit a 3-pointer, and killed one of the value plays. Jakob Poeltl was the opposite. I don't know why he wasn't on the court in that fourth quarter, tanking at its finest, but they still managed to win. What can you do? We did make a small profit on straight picks plus the money line double that I shared. So for those of you who are on the $1 plan, probably still happy with me. But let's talk about all the picks. What did we learn? Am I a dumbass or am I not? Here's a spoiler. I am. First play, Donovan Mitchell over 3.5 3-pointers made. Man, this was absolutely awful. This was a terrible bet. And it's not even because of the result. It's not because he finished with 1 3-pointer. It was a bad bet because I was blindsided by his history against the Bulls. 7 3-pointers in both games, career high against them, yada, yada, yada. I didn't even consider that Nikola Vucevic wasn't even playing in this game and what their defense was going to look like. So a little note to myself, and even something for you to know, is that the Chicago Bulls aren't running as much drop coverage anymore with Vucevic, given they've got smaller and more mobile centers now, meaning they can blitz and put more pressure on a lot of guards in pick and roll situations, which ultimately means they're going to drive the ball a lot more. Donovan Mitchell did that. Tons of free throws, driving to the rack. Only took 6 attempts from deep, even though he didn't shoot very well. The volume wasn't what I expected it to be. What makes this bet even worse is that I took the 3-pointers made prop and not the points. I can't remember the last time I came in here and I said, man, I wish I took the 3-pointers made and not the points. Like, it's always the opposite. So I need help. If you guys are in VIP or you notice in the videos that I'm betting on a 3-pointers made prop, it's probably best to just take the points prop anyway, because that seems to hit at a lot better rate than the 3-pointers made. The 3-pointers did have a better odds, a similar hit rate, and I got greedy, if I'm being honest with you. Plus money, I fall for that every single time. So that was foolish of me. That was an awful bet, and I apologize if you tailed. Chris Dunn, I took him over 16.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He played 32 minutes and then did nothing. He was 0 from 5 from deep today. I'm pretty much saying I reckon he kills it in this next game. That's just how things go sometimes. Anthony Edwards, I took him over 28.5 points. He had 18 points at halftime, and I was quietly confident that he would cover this number. Then he played 12 minutes in the second half. He only attempted 2 shots, and the Wolves role players stepped up. Now, I don't hate the bet. I hate the outcome of it, but it makes sense. Like, if Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dante DiVincenzo are making it rain from deep, why does Anthony Edwards have to hog that ball? So I get it. It makes sense. I hate that I lost. Don't think it was such a bad bet in the end. Kawhi Leonard, took him for over 29.5 points and rebounds. He plays 37 minutes. There's no more restrictions on Kawhi Leonard. He takes 20 shots, which is fantastic. The problem is 9 from 20 against this piss-poor excuse of a team known as the Phoenix Suns. The part of me is happy that the Clippers managed to choke that game despite being up by more than 20. But it is what it is. I didn't hate the bet. I hate the way that Kawhi Leonard played, but the angle made total sense to me then, and it still makes sense to me now. Hit a couple of winning plays, though, so it wasn't all bad. Jakob Poeltl, over 17.5 points and rebounds. He was like Jalen Duren out there with the foul trouble he found himself in. He was excellent in the minutes that he played. Still scratching my head as to why he didn't play in that fourth quarter that much, but hey, that's the coach's decision, right? It needs to be investigated. Took Chris Paul under 12.5 points and rebounds. This was sweatier than it needed to be. Spurs are up 15, 5 minutes to go. CP3 checks in, makes 1 3-pointer, went from 8 points and rebounds to 11, and then I started to get a little bit nervous, but he finishes with 11. I also took Alperen Şengün over 20.5 points. That was easy money, cashed it early in the second half. Devin Booker took him for over 3.5 boards. He finished with 5, but I was starting to get worried there. The Suns weren't playing defense, so there were no rebound opportunities to go around. Being honest with you, I turned the game off. I stopped checking the box score when they were down like 20 something in the third quarter. I was like, this is a wrap. Like, I remember Devin Booker hit a 3-pointer, and then the Clippers called a timeout, and I thought that's it. He subbed out after that, didn't come back out after the timeout, and I was like, he's finished. So I just stopped watching from there. Checked the box score with like 3 minutes left, and Kevin Durant had gone crazy, brought them back into the game, and Devin Booker eventually cashed these boards for me. Also hit a money line parlay, Bucks Pacers. I was plus 130, so I like that. I might do a couple more money line parlays like that just to sneak in an extra unit of profit. And then we hit a Devin Booker value play, which is for him to get 5 rebounds and 7 assists at plus 350. But I did run a lot of value plays today. Devin Booker was the only one that cashed, so that absolutely sucked. But hopefully we bounce back soon. And for VIP, I'll share it with you all now. I pretty much shared a screenshot of the profit that I made every month in the NBA. So October was a disastrous start, difficult, no sample size of data, went 9 units under. Things started to pick up. November was good. I think like halfway through November, we've managed to turn things around and killed it. December, we continued to smash it. January got even better. February got a little bit weird. Heading into the All-Star break, trade deadline, it got a little bit shaky in there. But in March, we're doing okay. But I do feel like between now and the rest of this regular season, things are going to be great to really bet on. So I'm feeling quietly confident that I can maintain this to get at least 40 to 80 units profit this month in March. Let's see how we go. But look, I know that was long-winded, but on the days that I lose, I want to talk through more of that with you so that you can learn from the mistakes that I've made. I know some of these mistakes, I tend to make them from time to time, but I guess the more we talk about it, the more we admit to the mistakes that we make, eventually this does get a little bit easier. So I appreciate y'all for that. Let's jump into these 4 picks. I've got no leans, but 4 picks is more than the usual 3 that I've been sharing with you. Now that sounds interesting. Let's go. We're jumping into Props Madness, the best tool you are going to find. If you like betting on NBA player props, they've got advanced filters, they've got shot charts, they've got similar types of players, they categorize them differently to other places. It's honestly a fantastic app. I encourage you guys to check it out. 7-day free trial, and you get 25% off if you use the code DAFT when you sign up. So go ahead and check them out. Let's talk about these 4 picks though, shall we? First one I'm looking at is in this Heat versus Cavaliers game. And as much as I want to run back Donovan Mitchell 3-pointers because I'm so upset about it, I'm not going to. But I'm telling you now, he's probably making 5 3-pointers today. But in all seriousness, I'm betting on Evan Mobley today. I took him for over 30.5 PRA. You could get a 29.5, and I could have bet that earlier, but it's also a line that I know that nobody's going to be able to bet. So I just took the 30.5 at excellent odds. Let's roll with it. Now, when I first looked at this, I was like, this is quite low. Like, I don't know if they're predicting a blowout or something, but 30.5, like he's been smashing this number lately. I looked at his last 15 games without any filters. He's over this line in 11 out of 15 games, averaging 33.7 points, rebounds, and assists. Like he did versus Miami at the end of January as well. 31 minutes, 22 points, 15 rebounds, and 2 assists. He finished with 39 points, rebounds, and assists. And that was a 20-point win. Like, it was a blowout, and he still ate them alive anyway. So the other factor in this, it's not even about advanced data. It's gut feel and, I don't know, common sense. The Cavs just played yesterday against the Bulls. They did blow them out, but it was pretty tight until that fourth quarter. On a back-to-back, Evan Mobley rested in that game. I'm only assuming here that he takes on a bigger workload with fresher legs. Now, the matchup here against Miami is not the greatest, but the one thing I thought about is where he's out. So Kevin Love gets the start. Kevin Love's been on Instagram for a lot longer than he's been on a basketball court this season. Like, Kevin Love's most likely the person to pick up Evan Mobley, even though Bam Adebayo is probably a better matchup. The Cavaliers run a lot of pick and roll sets with Jared Allen, and you would prefer to have Bam Adebayo defending those pick and rolls opposed to Kevin Love, who's probably going to get torn apart. So I think Evan Mobley's going to have a decent matchup here if we see the Kevin Love thing. Even if it is Bam Adebayo, I think Evan Mobley can still get it done. I think he just picks up a bigger role in this game, knowing that the Cavs run a back-to-back. So I do like his over 30.5 PRA. I would play this up to 31.5 if you're interested. The next play we're looking at is Right here, I was going to say the market's disappeared. It hasn't. It's the Blazers versus the Boston Celtics. Now, the Boston Celtics have a ton of game time decisions right now, so not taking any bets on them. Although with Portland, I'm willing to risk it here because if any of these Celtics are out, it only supports this play. The more of them that are out, the better it is for this play. So I'm going with Deni Avdija today, and I'm taking his PRA. I took him for over 25.5. I would play this at 26.5. Most books do have this at 25.5 as I record this. So 25.5 PRA, he's only hit this in 15 out of 27 games. So what's the catch? So Deni's projected to play 33 minutes in this game. So what I did, went ahead and projected his games to where he plays between 30 and 36. Means a little bit more and a little bit less than what he's projected for. Now, in these games, he's over this line in 11 out of 16 games, averaging 28.1 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's like, this is the Boston Celtics, bruh. The matchup is difficult. You better calm your ass down. And I'm like, I'm saying I agree. The Boston Celtics, great defense, especially if you're just looking at stats and you're looking at the team on paper. The challenge here is, well, the challenge is more for Boston, not for me. Like, as I look through the injury report, we've got Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Porzingis, all game time decisions. Now, Holiday, Porzingis, unlikely to even play. Brown and Tatum are questionable. So they may not even play. But regardless, all I'm really looking forward to is here no Kristaps Porzingis, who's extremely unlikely to play due to an illness. So without Kristaps Porzingis, what I've noticed is whenever he's out, they're extremely soft around the rim. They allow a lot more assists than they normally would. And obviously, they allow a lot more buckets around the basket. And if you haven't been watching the Portland Trailblazers play, if you want points around the basket and DeAndre Ayton's not there, Deni Avdija is your man. So I did a deep dive into the numbers. On the season, Deni Avdija shoots 38% of his shots within the restricted area. And I'm not talking about where he scores his points. Even though he scores 47% of his points down there, he shoots 38% of his attempts from within the restricted area. What I noticed is over the last 7 games, not even noticed, I dived into this. Over the last 7 games, we've seen an increase here because DeAndre Ayton's not there. Deni Avdija is now taking 58% of his shot attempts in the restricted area. And if Kristaps Porzingis is not there, which is extremely likely that he's going to miss this game, then it makes him very soft in there. Like Luke Cornett has some size, could potentially block some shots, but he's not going to play the same number of minutes as Deni Avdija. Both of these teams tend to run small ball lineups a lot of the time. And for the Portland Trailblazers, I believe that they play a lot better when they play small ball. And when they do, Deni Avdija is the best rebounder on the floor most of the time. He's able to push the ball in transition, can get rebounds and assists in the same possession. So I'm really liking Deni Avdija for everything. Give me the points, the rebounds, the assists, provided he sees the minutes and Kristaps is out. I absolutely love this play. And based on the reports that I've read, Kristaps is not going to play this game, although it's yet to be confirmed. So I'm liking Deni Avdija over his PRA. I'd play that up to 26.5. The next play that I am looking at is in this OKC versus the Grizzlies game. Now, this is another probably stunning game if you like doing parlays because the total for this one is projected for 250 points. Now, for the Memphis Grizzlies, we've got Ja Morant, who's a game time decision in this one. Still playing up with that shoulder. Santel Dama's a game time decision, as well as a lot of bench players. OKC pretty much at full strength in terms of their starting lineup. So for this game, I'm running with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP of this season, in my opinion, and I'm taking him for over 38.5 points and assists. So this one didn't require too much analytics, but SGA projected to play 35 minutes, which is great. Both of these teams played at an absolutely crazy pace, which is why the game total set at 250. Now, one thing I noticed is post the All-Star break, this OKC Thunder team, they've been having extremely high-scoring games. Now, yes, they're still a lethal defense. They're still great at stopping the key players on the other team, but overall, they're leaking a ton of points. Like that last game against the San Antonio Spurs almost hit 280 points, which is nuts. Now, SGA, he's the engine which runs this OKC offense, whether he's scoring all the points or he's assisting on a lot of them, which is why I'm taking the points and the assists for this one. I do think he covers his points prop, but, adding the assists in just in case he mucks around and gets a little bit saucy with it. But he's also covered this line in points alone, which is why I'm taking the points and the assists. He's had 40 plus, what? No, not 40 plus points. Let me double check this. In terms of his points, we're looking at 38.5. He's had 39 against the Wolves, 51 against the Rockets. So in 2 out of 6 games, he's covered this points and assist line in just points alone. And I think he's got a good chance to do it again. We're seeing a very high total. He's got an excellent matchup here against the Memphis Grizzlies. If we look at his games against Memphis, 42 and 40 points and assists in both of those games. In terms of his points, averaging 33.5 in them. But SGA looked hungry right now. So he's cashed this in both games against Memphis. The total is very high for this particular game, especially after this All-Star break. And he's got an excellent matchup. What can I say? In terms of scoring points, the Grizzlies, bottom 10 in pick and roll defense. They give up a ton of free throws, and SGA is a free throw merchant. They're poor in transition, so SGA can get out and run with them. He can also get a lot of assists that way as well. And in terms of shot zones, the Grizzlies, not really good at anything but limiting corner threes. I don't know if SGA's made a corner three this season. Like, week above the break, SGA's hitting more threes recently, so I think he can make it rain on him today. I'm liking SGA to just drive this OKC offense all over the Grizzlies. I don't know what their team total set for, if you like betting on that, whether it be like, 130, I would have to assume. My goodness. And if they're scoring about 125 to 130 points, SGA is going to have a big hand in that. So like an SGA to really push this offense along. And my next and my final play to share with you guys is in this Utah Jazz game versus the Washington Wizards. And I'm going with Kyle Filipowski. So shout out to my boy Josh from Land Your Bets. I was on his stream the other day, and he gave me a whole rundown on Filipowski and his skills, what he did in college. I took a bet on Filipowski. We'll call him Flip. I took a bet on Flip after that stream and managed to cash it. I think it was this game against the Pelicans. I took his rebounds and assists in that last game against the Pelicans. He killed it. 11 boards, 7 assists. I didn't bet on him against Detroit, thankfully, but up against the Wizards today, I do like it. So I'm taking him over 12.5 rebounds and assists. I'd play this up to 13.5. Now, Filipowski projected to play 28 minutes in this game, and the whole reason for that is Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, the Collins, we'll call them the Tank Patrol, pretty much the starting lineup for this Utah Jazz. They are out. And Filipowski, in a very small sample size, has performed quite well without them. I think the key ones here are Lauri, Collins, and Kessler. They're all the other bigs, you could say. And you can see it here. He's played 6 games without them, covered them in 3. But in these games where he didn't do too much, he didn't play too many minutes. He's projected to play at least 25 minutes in this game. But if we just look at the games where he plays at least 23. So the last 3 games we're really talking about when the Tank Patrol took a seat. Absolutely murdered this line. 13, 16, and 18 rebounds and assists, averaging 15.7. Now, it's a very small sample size, but that's all we have to work with. Like, Filipowski hasn't played this many minutes in that many games. And on top of that, we've got a fantastic matchup here against the Washington Wizards. They allow the 4th most rebounds and assists to his position. They play at a really fast pace. Their offense absolutely stinks. There should be a lot of rebound chances. He's also a fantastic passer at his position. Check just the assists out, averaging 5.7 assists over these 3 games. It's plus money if you just look at the 3.5 assists, and that's honestly one player that I considered, but I don't want to fall victim to chasing plus money again, but I am saying I do like the look here. I like Filipowski to cover his assist line. I like him to cover his rebound line. He's done quite well on all those, and he has a fantastic matchup today. So Kyle Filipowski, hopefully get us paid, my boy. Now, that's a wrap on today's video. Just got the 4 picks for you. Don't really have too many leans right now. I haven't even dived into a lot of the games with heavy game time decisions. I'll save that for the morning. I'm going to edit this thing, upload it, get it all out to you guys. I appreciate you all. If you can, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Put comments down below, and let's push this thing out to more people. I do wish you the best of luck. Let's green out, lads. Let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.